Hey guys, Danielle here. Haven't done one of these in a while, so I thought I would give it a go. Want to start doing reviews of our travel adventures and broadcasting them to my YouTube channel, These Are My Heart. If you have any questions throughout this broadcast, feel free to comment below or PM me, or hopefully you guys can get on the Google Hangout. If not, just PM me on Facebook Messenger. I've got my phone and hopefully I can get it. So I know that there's some transition between Google Hangout and on air and YouTube. So let us get started. And if you can do me a favor, when you do come on, if you guys can mute your microphones, that would be super, super helpful. So we were invited to go on Disney Dream for a short Bohemian cruise that went to Nassau and Castaway Cay. And like I said, just still getting used to this stuff. So like I mentioned, we were invited to sail on board Disney's Castaway, or Disney's Dream, to Nassau and Castaway Cay. And it was really, really exciting because it's been a long time since I've been on a Disney cruise. Not that I want to date myself or anything like that, but the last, I will start the presentation here. The last Disney cruise that I was on Premier Cruise Lines and the Big Red Boat. And this is when Disney was contracting with a cruise line before they launched their own in 1998. And like I said, I'm not going to date myself, but that's pretty much the ship that we went on. It was something else, that's for sure. So we were first welcomed by some awesome love bugs. These things were the grossest thing that I have ever seen in my life. And they were all over the place, all over Central Florida, which coming from the West Coast, that was something new to me. So, however, we didn't let that bother us at all. Jason and I jumped in a lift and headed towards Port Canaveral. And upon arriving to Port Canaveral, that was our view. It was something else, which was really exciting for me because waited about 20-25 years to go on one of these. So there she is, Disney Dream. And this thing is not wanting to cooperate with me. So we checked in. The check-in process was pretty easy, even though we had never sailed before. It was pretty streamlined once we cleared security and checked in. I think from the time we arrived to the port to the time we were on the ship was probably less than 20 minutes. The only thing I can suggest is make sure that you get to check in early, get that early arrival time. I think we had about 11:30 check-in time, and which worked out perfect for us. So from the time we got to the port, like I said, from the time we got to the port to the time we were on the ship was about 20 minutes. So we boarded. Something that is so awesome is when you get ready to board on the ship, they have their cast members or crew members waiting for you. Everyone applauds and formally announces you on the ship. I knew this going into it, and it was So awesome. I even teared up a little bit, but I'm also a Disney nerd, so there's that. But there is my loving husband who sported the Magical Moments Dream Vacation matching t-shirts. So we were actually on board with several other agents, and we all wore shirts, mostly so we could get to know each other. A lot of people I hadn't met before. So our rooms weren't ready when we boarded, and so we went straight to Animator's Palette for lunch. Now, this is one of the 3 dining rooms that they have. Now, Disney Cruise Line offers rotation dining, and every night you go to a different dining room. Now, I was a little skeptical about this because I'm pretty traditional when it comes to dining, and I like to have the same waiter, and that's kind of part of the cruise experience. And so what I found out was your waiters actually follow you, which is great because they get to know your personalities, they get to know what you want, they get to know what drinks you like, they get to know your allergies, and that's something that Disney takes extremely seriously, extremely seriously. So we went to Animator's Palette for lunch, and it was a real fun, festive dining room at night. During dining room, the room comes to life, and there's smaller presentations, and it's really a sneak peek of our desserts. We were pretty hungry, so I didn't take a whole lot of pictures of our actual lunch. Finally, our room was ready. We were in a category 5D, and that is a deluxe ocean view stateroom with veranda, which is basically a balcony. It can sleep up to 3 to 4 people. It's approximately 246 square feet, including the veranda. It comes with a queen bed, single sleeper sofa. Some of them come with the Pullman or a pull-down bed, which allows it to sleep 4 people. You got custom premium plush Euro top mattress, cotton linens. The rooms are gorgeous. So we went in there, which was kind of challenging. The only downside I could say is it was a little challenging to get our luggage in there. But as you can see, and we were also welcomed with a beautiful rose from our owner of the agency. She also surprised us with some chocolates and champagne and an awesome robe that I wish I could just live in because it's so soft. But as you can see, there is so much storage there. There's our door. Here's the closet with a safe. And the one thing I can say is, compared to other cruise lines that we've been on, I was really, really impressed with the storage. Something else that was different, as you can see, so here's the bathroom. I know that here's a picture of the toilet, but here's the bathroom. Now, something I really liked, and this is really going to come in handy for families of 3 or 4 that are staying in a similar room or a similar cabin, and they're split. And you have your shower in one room and then your toilet and sink in the other. Without getting too personal, I found this really enjoyable because, someone could use the restroom and someone could get ready and take a shower at the same time. Again, lots of storage space. There's our champagne, which was really nice. Thank you, Jen. And here's the other section. Here's the other room, the other bathroom. Here's our balcony. I couldn't go out because, like I said, those love bugs were everywhere. This made me super nervous because I really thought that we were going to have to deal with these guys the whole cruise. But once we got to sea, they really started kind of going away, and our balconies were covered with them. Well, when we got to Nassau, props to Disney because they made sure that the balconies and the common areas and everything like that were completely hosed off, which was so awesome. So probably by our second day, we were able to use it. So we got some awesome magnets from, I just got those on Amazon. So once we checked out our cabin, we always like to do a tour of the ship. Here is Buena Vista Theater. And they do some shopping seminars, which is pretty similar to every cruise line I've been on. They have someone who's that's their job, is to recommend different places to go shopping, especially when it comes to jewelry and stuff like that. They have this awesome little program that you can go around and basically be a detective. And there's paintings that come to life when you scan. I think it's like your little card or something like that. That's one thing I didn't take advantage of. So one thing that puts Disney apart from other cruise lines, in my opinion, is their child programs. This is the nursery, and we'll get on to the Oceaneer lab. Now, we went through open house because once we set sail, they kind of lock it down and you have to have a kid, and they kind of frown upon, random adults just walking in there. But as you can see, this was so incredible. They had video games, and they made cookies, and they had a little lab. And one of the biggest things with the Star Wars Millennium Falcon area, which honestly, I can see even adults wanting to go in and play. But there were characters everywhere, and Stitch, of course, we had to take a picture of Stitch because Stitch is a rock star. There was a bunch of Toy Story in another room. There's Rex, we love him. And these were darn near life size. It was just so cool. Here is the Millennium Falcon, and this was just so cool. I think they should honestly have this in adult areas. As you can see, the kids were just having a blast. And this is really, like I said, what sets Disney apart from other cruise lines. I mean, there's other cruise lines that do an awesome job with their kids club, but it's just, no one's going to compare to Disney. This is like a kids club on steroids. And they're so, the people that work in the kids club are vetted, and it's a safe place. Again, characters everywhere. Max came out and was interacting with the kids. It was awesome. So definitely something that I suggest for families. Going into the restaurants. Now, Disney Dream has several different restaurants. They have Animator's Palette, which we had lunch, Cabanas, which is the buffet, Enchanted Garden, Royal Palace, and Animator's Palette are the rotation dining rooms. Here's Royal Palace. Now, as you can see, this is our card. This also acts as our credit card. This acts as our room key. This acts as, where we would go for muster. As you can see here, this is our dining. We had A15 dining. We were in table 51. And as you see at the bottom of that, you see ERA. Now that's your rotation dining. E is Enchanted Garden, R is Royal Palace, R is Royal Palace, and A stands for Animator's Palette. This tells you where you're going to go each night. You're going to go to the same time, which would be 8:15, or if you had early dining, I think it was like 5:45 or something like that. I could be wrong there, which was just too early for us coming from the West Coast, and we just eat a little bit later. But for families, the early dining seems to be pretty popular. You're going to go to the same dining table, and sometimes you can request to be at a table of 2 or a table of 4 or something like that. In this particular case, we were put at a table with other agents in our group, which was pretty cool because we ended up with some great agents and met lots of people. Just some more stuff. Palo, we ate there. Remy, which is another signature dining. It does cost additional to go there. I gotta say, I was really, really impressed with the amount of food options. You can get mac and cheese, you can get hot dogs, you can get burgers, you can get pizza, you can get fries. And this is all located up by the pools. And the food was really, really good. Co Cafe is a great place to get some signature coffees. We also took a tour of the spa, which Jason and I really like to usually get at least one massage when we're on a cruise ship. Something I really liked was the youth spa. I poked my head in there, and there were some little girls getting a mani and pedi, which was adorable. The gym was great. I didn't partake in it. However, Jason did wake up one morning and go to the gym. He said he was actually pretty impressed with it compared to other gyms that we've been to on cruises. Like I said, you never know who you're going to run into. There's a group of some of our agents, all rock stars right there. I loved the old pictures of Walt. I'm a huge fan. I am going to stop by here. So my biggest challenge for Disney when I went on, now Jason and I went without our kids. without our son, who's 18 now. However, I've always heard that you can stay away, there have adult areas, and you don't have to be around kids and stuff like that for those that are just true Disney nerds and want to, partake in the Disney experience through cruise, or you're on your honeymoon or whatever it might be. There are several areas on the ship that are specifically for guests 18 and older. Now, we've seen this on other cruise lines, and sometimes they're 16, sometimes they're 18. But in this particular case, the areas of Disney are 18 and older, that also bled over into Castaway. Now, Jason and I were in the hot tub, and we saw a younger kid, and it didn't really, I didn't really mind it because I was kind of used to other cruise lines that, so long as they're not causing a ruckus or anything like that, they usually let them hang out. However, a deckhand came up, and even though the kid maybe looked 16, 17 years old, he wasn't really bothering anyone. He was with his dad. Said, hey, how old are you? And he was like, oh, I'm 16 or 17 or something like that. And his dad was like, oh, he's with me. And the guy very, very professionally, very politely, not to ruffle any feathers or anything like that, but he was like, hey, I'm going to have to ask you to leave because you're not 18. I respected this so much because if you let one in, you're going to let them all in. Disney took this super, super seriously. So a lot of respects. Frozen treats, let's go back to that. Something super important. Next to frozen treats is where you can get a Dole Whip, and they'll add rum. So for all you Dole Whip fans like Bricky out there, and all my Disneyland friends that live for the Dole Whip, yeah, they add rum there, which is a plus. Something I really, really liked is they have laundry facilities on board. Now, this is really great, especially if you're going to do a pre or post Disney World edition, after your cruise or before your cruise. In this particular case, we did hit Disney World before we went to the cruise, and this is ideal for parents with kids, especially, or even just couples that are doing that long 7 days, 14 days, whatever you guys decide to do at Disney World, and you don't want to pack that much. Well, you're going to go and take advantage of these laundry facilities. And they were really nice. They're locked, and it seemed secure for me. So they did have a few different facilities. We're getting into cabanas here. My nerd of a husband. Cabanas. Now, my only complaint here is we didn't get to take advantage of cabanas. Now, I did walk through I will say that the options that were available compared to other cruise lines that we've been on, their buffets specifically, lots and lots and lots of options. My only complaint there was it really seemed like every time we went up there, they weren't open. I think we went up there one time and they were open, but here's the hours. And so you can kind of see. Now, we are weird when it comes to eating. We'll go and eat at 3 o'clock. So when we went up there at 3:30 or whatever, you can see that it was closed and they were doing their turnaround. A lot of other cruise lines will leave at least one side open. However, you do have those other options with the burgers and the hot dogs and the pizzas and the French fries and the smoothies and everything like that. So if Cabanas is closed, doesn't mean that you're going to go hungry by any means, because there are food options everywhere. So after the muster drill, we went and got ready for the sail away party. And I do want to stop here though, because we went up. The sail away party was up at the pool deck, and we wanted to be above, looking down. One, we were older and we didn't want to be in the way of kids and stuff like that. We knew Mickey was going to be coming out. Two, I wanted to get some really good shots for you guys. The aqueduct, though, we actually stood right in front of here. How awesome is this? This was something I was really looking forward to. And it's a water slide that actually goes out and around the ship. So when you're at sea, we went on it when we were leaving Nassau, I believe it was, and we were leaving. And it was so cool because you actually look down and you see the water below you. So if you're afraid of heights, just don't look down, but it's a must if you're going to do that. So you can see here the rest of the aqueduct. It was so cool. So here's the sail away party. This is something I was looking forward to. This is something that Disney is known for because of what happens right before the Disney ship sets sail. As you can see, Mickey and all of his friends are out there. Something I was super worried about was just way too many people, and I didn't feel that way at all. Like I said, we went above and we were looking down, but no, I mean, there was a lot of room for everybody. Everybody could see. And on top of that, they actually projected it. That was our cruise director. And they, like I said, they got everyone really involved in it. And here is the iconic horn right before they set sail. So that was super cool because no other cruise line is going to have anything like that. And they also have other songs like Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff like that. So here's a great bar, Cove Bar. This is actually by the adult pool, and it is attached to a swim-up bar, which was really, really nice. Something that I like about the pools on the ship is that if they get below 75 degrees, they're heated. They continue to be heated. So you never have to worry about going into a cold pool, which, I mean, with the humidity and everything like that, yeah, but still I'm a wimp and it's nice to have that heater. Yeah. So as usual, most cruise lines, but Disney took it a step above with our blanket animals. I guess this was kind of a blanket. I'm not really sure what half of these guys were. I'm pretty sure that's a frog. But every night from the first night, we had towel or blanket animals. So like I said, there were characters everywhere, character experiences all over the place. I had to get a picture with Captain Mickey. And now, the one thing I will say is the night that we had this taken, it was actually formal night. And Jason and I are pretty traditional when it comes to cruising, and we like to participate in formal night, and it's kind of a tradition of ours. But Disney, a few months ago, according to guest services, actually stopped putting out the daily planner or the daily schedule like other lines do. And what they're really trying to convert to is that Disney app, which, tells you what days and what, it's a casual night in the dining room, or it's a semi-formal night in the dining room, formal night. But what I did notice is it either looked like nobody knew it was formal night, or everyone opted not to participate in formal night. So compared to other lines that we've been on, we really didn't see a whole lot of people participating in this. There were people with flip-flops in the dining room and sneakers and jeans and shorts and stuff like that. So this is actually kind of casual wear for us, but great opportunity to take a picture with Captain Mickey, which, made my night, of course. Again, some awesome agents that are a part of our agency. We actually were assigned to sit with them, which worked out great because we've had very similar personalities. Like I said, characters everywhere. Everywhere I turn around, here's Donald, and this is 10:30 at night. We just stumbled upon when we were headed to the adult areas. And, he was just jamming out, which was great. So that was one thing that I've heard, is there's characters everywhere. Well, that is a true fact. There are characters everywhere. So we get to Castaway Cay. Here's a map of Castaway Cay. And this is a private island. And Castaway Cay was actually the first private island in the cruise industry where the ship docks alongside, so guests don't have to tender to land. And Disney Cruise Line has really gone above and beyond when it comes to Castaway Cay. It's so uniquely Disney. And there's actually an official Bohemian post office on the island. If you mail an item from the post office, it'll actually have an official Castaway Cay postmark. Like I said, Castaway Cay is Disney's own private island. It's located in the Bahamas at 225 nautical miles from Port Canaveral, to be precise. And I think it was previously called Gorda Cay. I believe I'm saying that correctly, before Disney's acquired it in the early 1990s. And it was usually used to be mainly as a stop for drug smugglers, but obviously they've kind of cleaned that up. So now it is a disused airstrip, which was presumably used for these activities. And now named Castaway Cay in white letters provided by the new owners. This beach is actually where Tom Hanks encountered Daryl Hannah in the movie Splash, which was filmed on the island. It's about 3.1 miles long and 2.2 miles wide, and it accompanying an area of approximately 1,000 acres, although only 55 acres have been developed for the enjoyment of the guest on board, which I really like because there's still a lot of natural beauty there. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't eventually be expanded on. Disney actually spent about $25 million in construction of the island's facilities, which involved dredging 50,000 truckloads of sand from the ocean bed in order to build the docking area. So the Disney Cruise Line ships and all the works were carried out. And it took about 18-month time frame before its opening date in July. It was actually opened July 30th in 1998, which was when they launched the ships. So they just marked their little over 20 years in the industry, owning ships and operating them. The theming of the island is that of a castaway community, and all of the buildings appear as though, and there's definitely some shipwrecks in there, which is great, especially if you want to go snorkeling. I'll show you some pictures there in a second. And there's, let's see, what else? Anything interesting? So 2 of the submarines from the now defunct 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride at the Magic Kingdom lie under the ocean in the snorkeling area along the statue of Mickey Mouse. Something I really, really like here, and I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but you can kind of see the ship. So you have a couple options. You can walk the whole island if you want to. It was hot, and I call it lazy, call it whatever, but we actually took a tram. And when you're going to the adult area, which the adult area is called Serenity Bay, which is located at the end of Castaway Cay, you can get there by foot, but it's a long walk with no shade. So we chose to do a tram. Some of our agents did choose to walk it, and said it was a pretty long walk. But yeah, you just take the tram, connect, and then head down to Castaway Cay. Now they do have food down at the adult area, and according to the cast members, they actually said that it's better than what is offered at the other food areas. Again, this is Castaway Cay, so all the food and everything is going to be included, except for like your alcohol and your specialty drinks. But all that's going to be included as well. On the Serenity Bay area, there's also a float and tube rental. You can rent a float or tube, which is just $10 a person for the entire day. And they'll also let you switch it out. If you take a tube in the morning, you can trade it for a float in the afternoon, which is really, really nice. You can also get a massage in the open air cabana. And then there were also some other cabanas that you could rent. But to my understanding, these sell out very quickly. So if you're going to do that, you want to plan as far ahead as possible. So of course there was Stitch welcome everybody off the ship. Even Olaf made an appearance, because he loves summers, but also has a special spell for him, so he doesn't melt on us. One of my favorite things about the ship is the back of the ship. There's that post office. Although when we were there, I didn't see it was open. This is a picture from Serenity Bay. It was gorgeous there, absolutely gorgeous. Some snorkel pictures. We didn't get to do this, but it was pretty awesome. So we get on and get back on the ship, and we are welcomed with Pirate Night. So our stateroom attendant delivered bandanas to our stateroom. However, we also brought our own pirate gear, which funny story, we actually purchased it about 10 years ago, so it only took us 10 years to actually utilize them. But it was Mickey's Pirates in the Caribbean. Turn away if you don't want any spoiler alerts, but something I really, really liked was the pre-show. Cast members got out there and interacted with the kids, and they had games and all kinds of stuff. And then once the show started, this little fella, I forget what his name is, but he also helped co-host the show. And, Mickey made an appearance with all of his friends. Goofy was there, and Mickey was all garbed up in his pirate gear. Donald was there. Daisy was there. Just like I said, the whole gang. It was awesome. But in any Disney fashion, there has to be a villain. And let's see here. They trained all the kids how to be a pirate. Donald, which I really like because Donald doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but he actually got to hang out. Minnie had a little special song. Goofy had a little special special little blurb. And just Mickey looked absolutely adorable in his pirate gear. Now, then, like I said, in any Disney fashion, we were attacked by pirates. And this pirate came tumbling down, and then Captain Hook made his appearance. So we had our villain, and Mickey and Captain Hook had to have it out, and we had to prove that we were all proper pirates. Otherwise, he would take over the ship, and then we would all, have to kind of look to him as our captain. Even Shmi made an appearance, which I think is awesome because we never get to see characters like that. But of course, again, in Disney fashion, good always overcomes evil, right? So Mickey kind of kicked Captain Hook's butt. But that didn't stop there. They had a party on the deck, and there was a DJ. There was a pirate-themed dining, which I thought the food was pretty good that night, actually. Yeah, where they had jerk chicken and all kinds of stuff. So then around, I think it was 10:30 or so, that is when they had their fireworks, which Disney Cruise Lines is the only cruise line in the industry that has fireworks at sea. And while I will say they were not nearly as long as they usually are in the park, it was fantastic. And we actually went up on one of the higher decks and got an excellent view. I believe it was starboard side is one of the best areas to view those. Our next day was a day at sea. And I'm showing this because, this is reality of it. This is the pool. This is the kids area. I did notice that the adult area was not nearly as crowded as the kid area, but at the same time, really, you're going to get this on any ship. But I'm also pretty straight up when it comes to my clients, and I like you guys to know everything that you're getting yourself into. So Disney does not have a drink package like Royal Caribbean or Carnival or any of their other major cruise lines. However, they do have some awesome tastings, and it was sold out when we decided we were going to do it. And I went online pre-cruise, and I was like, man. So what we did was on the first day, we went up to the Skyline bar up in the district and asked if there were any available openings. And there was. So we did the 405 mixology class in Skyline. It was about $25 a person, which sounds like a lot, but based on the drinks that they give you, it was actually a very fair price. So here's a Skyline bar, really awesome because the Skyline bar changes I think they said every 15 minutes or so. And it was great. The drinks were great. They were strong. And they even let us get behind the bar and make our own drinks. We enjoyed it so much. And there's a Skyline bar, like I said. The whole theme here is to sip a drink and sightsee from your seat at the Sky Bar. And it comes with the world's most scenic horizons. And it was honestly pretty incredible because it's not just this backdrop that you're seeing. It was the whole room. So one time you were in Paris, one time you were in Rio. It was great. So we had such a great time. We actually met a couple that was sitting at our table, and they mentioned that they were doing the martini class next. So just for, the heck of it, we went up to the Meridian Bar to see if there were any available openings for the martini tasting, and there actually were. So we did a back-to-back mixology class and a martini class. The martini class was $25 as well. Which again, per person, but it was worth it in my opinion. It really was. The drinks were really, really good, and they made sure that each and every guest were properly lubricated by the time we left. And this bar is actually up near Palo and Remy. and gorgeous. So it was our last sunset. That Caribbean sunset there is just, I love it. It's just one of my favorites. And we went down and we got ready for our specialty dining at Palo, which is something I've been looking forward to forever, long before Remy came along. And we actually ate at Palo. So when you walk in, your server comes and greets you and asks you if you've ever been to Palo before, and we had never been. And so what he told us about this particular chandelier, it's right when you walk in and you look up and it's just gorgeous, and it's supposed to represent the different pastas and stuff like that. It's a very Italian themed restaurant by far, definitely. And let's see, Palo actually takes the name from the poles that line the canals of Venice. And Palo's extensive reserve wine list features selections that hail from some of the most mature vineyards in the world and highlight some of the greatest Super Tuscans. And it was just phenomenal. The decor and the food, it's all inspired by Italy. And it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. Definitely worth it. Had I known that it was going to be so amazing, I probably would have made reservations every night. It is additional $40 a person, but it was worth every dime for us. So bread, I mean, I'm a bread girl. So the bread service, which was, they're all freshly baked, and then it's followed by an antipasta that include prosciutto and Parmesan, Reggiano and olives and sun-dried tomatoes and balsamic vinegar. It was great. And then we were fat kids that day. So I actually did 2 appetizers. This one is the Tuscan white bean soup with prosciutto and Parmesan cheese. And then I also did a gnocchi, which was fantastic. It was so good. Jason did kind of a combination of deep fried seafood platter that it had calamari, scallops, mussels on it. It was really good. Here's something that took me back to Premier Cruise Lines and just traditional cruising in general, because it's been a while since I've personally had this at on cruises before. But they give you I think it was like a lemon sorbet, and it was just a palate cleanser, and that really took me back because they used to do that on Premier Cruise Lines on the Big Red Boat, which was really cool. Jason had the grilled sea scallops, and I had the veal shank. Oh my gosh, it was like butter. It was so good, and it came with the risotto. When they did deliver our food, they did ask us if we were going to be interested in the chocolate souffle, and of course, being the fat kids that we are, we ordered it. Obviously, you have to order it early because the preparation time does take a little bit longer. And it was a chocolate souffle with vanilla bean and chocolate sauce. And the waiter comes and pours the sauce over it, and it just melts like a volcano. It was beautiful. And then he put the ice cream on top, and now I'm making myself so incredibly hungry. But that was a heck of a way to end our Disney cruise. And I will say this, I was so incredibly blessed to be able to go after 20 years of wanting to take it off my bucket list. And especially, being an agent, I feel like it's important to know the products that we sell. And, I would say any family member, especially those that are Disney fans, it's worth it. It really is. You're going to get the entertainment, like only Disney knows how to offer. And we actually were able to see the Golden Mickeys and Beauty and the Beast, which was really, really similar to the movie and the Broadway production. A phenomenal entertainment. And it wasn't just that level of entertainment. The singers that were in the different bars and the piano bars, they were all on point, like Disney knows how to offer. Some of the other cruise lines aren't necessarily as up to par as Disney is, but minus the few. I mean, when you go on a Disney cruise, you have to understand there are going to be kids there. But if you are going because you guys are just Disney fans and you are adults going on there, that doesn't say that you can't go and enjoy it, because there are so many different places you can go and hide out. But if you want a picture with this particular fella, then you are going to end up waiting in line for a little bit. which the lines weren't too bad either. But that's pretty much my little quick review, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I promise I'll get a little bit better in the future because I'm still new to this, and hopefully the technology is going to hang in there with me. Let's see here. So like I said, if you have any other questions, let me know. Message me, PM me, however you want to do it. We do have some really good specials going on for Disney cruises, as well as Walt Disney summer bookings this coming summer. So let me know if you have any questions or need a quote or anything like that. Thanks for listening, and we will see you soon with another review. I believe my next one's going to be sandals.